He might not be from Krypton, but he's heads above the rest. His knowledge can't be questioned. You can put it to the test. So if you want to hear the truth and have nowhere else to go, I'll give you the solution. Just tune into his show and just kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Phantom Zone. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in all of YouTube entertainment today. And hello, everybody who is here. I was not expecting to do a live stream. I'm actually coming over off of a cold, so I am not feeling particularly great. So this is kind of a spur of the moment kind of stream that I'm doing right now. I had no plans on doing it, and that's just how it happened. So what up, Janie Davis? What up, Lemon Pie? We've got 4 people in. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Carrie Lewis, what's up? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Today's discussion is going to be a painful one. And I don't like being agitated. If you can hear my voice, I'm literally right now drinking tea because don't worry, I don't have the Omicron. I have a standard run-in-the-mill effing flu. So the night before this came out, I actually watched Hawkeye first, which I was very pleased by. And I was dreading seeing this movie and doing this review. And it sucks because if you guys know my channel, I recently did an introspective on The Matrix. It was called Creating an Icon, and I talked about how The Matrix revolutionized cinema for the time it came out. And make no mistake, the movie did that. This movie is very interesting indeed. Hey, everybody show love for my boy Steve in the chat. He's a actual friend of mine offline. Speaking of which, we got to get together sometime, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while. But in that movie, I highlighted how it's one of my favorite trilogies and how I love The Matrix. This movie is fucking terrible. And it's not so much I'm gonna get into the reasons, but what makes this movie worse for me is that this movie could have been really good. There's a lot of good ideas. I'm not going to shit all over the movie like everybody else on the internet. Look, there's going to be a lot of people coming out saying it's woke and all this shit. It's not woke. It's nothing like that. This movie is a play on corporatism, and the irony of what the movie is saying is the movie is the very thing that it's talking about. And if you don't know, I'm going to spoil the shit out of this movie. I would recommend, if you're a fan of The Matrix, not watching it. But if you have no interest or you're kind of curious or on the fence, if you want to watch it, see it on HBO Max. Don't fucking spend money to see it. It's not worth it. It really isn't. And I never thought I'd be saying that for The Matrix. And honestly, I wanted to like this movie. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you too, FBS. Yeah. I'll see you later, JD Davis. I know you don't want it spoiled, but for everyone else who doesn't mind, there will be spoiler talk. I'll start with not giving away too much, and then I'm going to spoil the shit out of this movie because this movie, you really should know what you're getting into before you watch this. Luckily, I had low expectations, and I think I could objectively view it a lot better than most people, but people who are fans of the original are going to be fucking pissed. and people who have never seen The Matrix, don't worry. You don't have to watch the first movie because this fucking movie does an hour of telling you about the previous movie. And this is one of many problems in this movie. So I'm going to get into this and kind of dive into what this movie is about. So the gist of it is it picks up after the first Matrix. Basically, everything's been reset, and Neil, what's up, Stone Cold Jeremy? Good to see you, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. I probably won't do a stream tomorrow because all of the people who are co-hosts with me all have family things, and I'm going to be visiting Mom's Odd, so I probably won't do a stream. So I'm doing one today because I really, even though I'm sick, you guys see the tea bag. I'm sick. I still got to talk about this fucking abomination. So pretty much this movie picks up where the last movie left us off. Everything's reset. The character of Neo does not remember. He is Neo. Trinity's kind of fucked off somewhere. And none of the original characters are back. Now, here's the interesting part of this movie. I like the beginning. Most people don't like the beginning. I liked the beginning because of where they were going with it. And then this thing crashes and burns at the very fucking end. I don't know, but there's a lot to this. And I kind of want to give some background before I go into my review and tell you what happens because it explains a lot of the shit that's in this movie. So if you guys don't know, the Wachowskis made a trilogy. I personally love all three. I've debated this for years. The philosophical stuff people didn't really like. I enjoyed it. I think it added to the whole lore and it gave a lot of context to the end of the movie. And I love to do a video on these. But this movie had a troubled production to begin with. So I wanted to read something that might encapsulate why I have some theories about this before I start. So if you didn't know, The Matrix was a huge hit. Even Revolutions, which most people don't like, they still made an ignorant amount of money. And so they continued the story with The Matrix Online, the game built as an official continuation. Rumors that a new installment would begin to circulate online about 2011. It was reported the Wachowskis had been planning 2 additional films in the series and had discussions with Keanu Reeves about reprising his role. Another rumor in 2014 claimed the sisters had submitted a story treatment for new Matrix trilogies to Warner Bros. These were later confirmed to be false. Upon promoting Jupiter Ascended, Lily Wachowski called a return to the Matrix particularly repelling these idea in these times when studios preferred to greenlight sequels, reboots, and adaptations over original material. And Lana Wachowski, addressing rumors of a potential reboot, said they had not heard anything but believed the studio might be looking to replace them. So I want to point out that before I get to my problems with this movie feels like them really pissed off about making this film. And in particular, only one of them, because the other Wachowski would not return. And I think it was a situation that Warner Bros. Wanted to make a universe. They talk about a director they had considered if the Wachowskis wouldn't come back. This director called Zach Penn, who had already made treatments and had Michael B. attached on one of those ideas, maybe for a Morpheus sequel and expanding the universe and franchise. In October 2019, he had been working on 2 Matrix projects for Warner Bros. And that his work was separate from the planned films. Penn's film didn't go ahead in favor of the Wachowskis' film. Jada Pinkett Smith later reflected on the handling of the franchise legacy to other filmmakers would be a horrendous mistake. So there was a lot of stuff, I believe, behind the scenes. And when you watch this movie, there are direct jokes to sequels and reboots. I feel like that Warner Bros. Wanted to do this since 2011. The Wachowski owns the rights, but it's kind of tied in with Warner Bros. And they own certain aspects. And they had been holding them off for a couple of years. But when everyone started doing reboots and retrends and stuff like that, the Wachowskis saw where they were going with this. And I don't blame the Wachowskis necessarily. They created this story, like it or hate it. They penned, directed, and did all of the story along with Andrew Zakowski or something, who also helped the story treatment. It's their baby. But Warner Bros. Got a lot more interest when they made the game. So I think that a lot of what happened with this franchise was the fact that they were kind of forced, either they do this movie or the studio does a version of this movie. And from the sounds of it, they wanted to reboot the whole thing and put Michael B. Jordan as Morpheus and a bunch of fucking stupid ideas. I can't say this turns out much better, except for the fact that this actually has Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Jada Pinkett Smith. Other than that, yeah, I saw the new Spider-Man movie and it's great. Can't say enough good things. And after seeing that, it's clear to see that this was going to be nothing like that. So DJ Recordhound says, if The Matrix is by Warner Brothers, it might be dubious. Yeah, I think the handling behind the scenes is dubious. What's up? How are you, Sandy? Jane Creek, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. So this is going to be a spoiler-filled breakdown because I can't talk about what pisses me off about this movie without spoiling the shit out of it. Hey, just call me Hen. Merry Christmas to you too. Merry Christmas to everybody watching, and thank you so much, because this is probably going to be short because I'm sick as hell. But I'm gonna do this anyways. So, final warnings: if you don't want this spoiled for you, hop on out. If you don't give a shit, stay. If you're on the fence, I'll give you reasons why you should watch this if you only have HBO Plus or HBO Max or whatever the fuck, which is how I watched it. And I'm glad, because I would have asked for my money back. Sam Jackson as Morpheus. I'm tired of these motherfucking agents on this motherfucking Matrix. Yeah, I would have loved this. I would have loved that. So basically, the premise of this is they make a lot of fucking meta stuff. And basically, the original Matrix was a game created by Neo. So it's like a movie within a movie that's actually real. And it fucking it references itself to an obnoxious level. There are so many fucking references in this movie to the originals, not like paying tribute, but fucking almost narcissistic in the way they reference this fucking movie. Thank you. I will, Kim. I got my tea right here. So if I sound less angry, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't hate it as much as the critics and these other people online. I think they're being way too fucking hard on the film, but I do acknowledge their complaints, because this is a very fucking cash grab kind of movie. Yeah, T-Virus, I agree. This movie is too self-aware. Okay, you have Spider-Man No Way Home, which had references that had heartfelt meanings and added to the story. This, to me, was hollow. Okay, there is one character I like that's a new character, and the character is called Bugs because she has a tattoo of a bunny. I don't know. Yes, they do address that, and I'll get to that at the ending, Christine. Didn't Neil die? I will get to the ending because the answer is fucking ridiculous. Everything in this movie felt like people who didn't want to write this movie. And I don't blame it on the actors. Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. Even if it's a shitty movie, he brings like 100%. Carrie-Anne Moss is great, and I'm in love with her, so I'm going to give her a pass too. Carrie-Anne Moss does a very good job in this movie. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. So basically, everybody compared this to The Last Jedi. Shut the fuck up. No, it's not even close to The Last Jedi, okay? They didn't pull a Luke here. The characters are still fairly respected. That's not the issue. This is more a Force Awakens. This movie is an exact fucking uh, copy of the first Matrix, only with new effects. People slightly know their powers, and nothing really original in this film. I disagree. I didn't mind what they did to Trinity, and I fucking hated Niobe, so I didn't give a shit about her character. But that's my point. They fucking bring back Niobe, uh, but I read something that they didn't call Lawrence Fishburne back or Hugo Weaving. Why would you acknowledge Agent Smith? So there's a new Agent Smith. You saw dude on my thumbnail. The guy's performance isn't bad. Like a lot of people, his performance isn't bad. He's just not Hugo Weaving. You can't replace Hugo. He's iconic. And they fucking do flashbacks to the first movie when he talks. So they could be like, oh, you see, remember Smith? Remember Smith? Remember that line? Hello, Mr. Anderson? Remember that? Yeah, that's this guy. This guy's him. Remember that? Remember that? Yeah, I fucking remember it. I own the fucking movie. I remember every motherfucking scene. I literally broke down the greatest scenes are to me what set a standard in that. Don't worry, I'll get to that. There were hints that Trinity was always linked to Neil. I understand where you're going with that. I didn't have a problem with that, but how they got there was a huge problem for me. So this was this one, and I agree with Terrence in the comments. This was very forced and lacking any original ideas. They do have a cool train sequence that I hadn't seen in the other Matrix, but the problem is the CGI looks fucking terrible. Oh, that is the other thing. The CGI in this was absolutely atrocious. Yes, I know about Sophie Stewart, who did the writing, but the Wachowskis were the ones who crafted the idea, and she made a coherent script. There's many people who go into writing a screenplay. I'm not downplaying anybody who contributed. I'm just saying conceptually, the Wachowskis had a large part in crafting it overall. Anyways, yeah, I like Matrix 3. And here's the thing, they take aspects from the Matrix 3 and a lot from Matrix 1 and a little bit from Matrix 2, but it all doesn't work. And here's the problem, they set up these new characters. I can't even fucking remember any of the new characters except for Bugs because she was the only one that I liked. And they really should have focused on her because instead of giving the characters a sort of way to get to know these new characters, they completely abandoned them at a point and they become like background, and it focuses on Neil and Trinity's like love. And here's the thing, we've done this in the first Matrix. Literally Neil becomes the one because of Trinity being over him, saying, admitting she loves him, and it brings him back to life, which is the theme that love transcends the boundaries of life and death and all that, if you're deep and philosophical and want to get into that. And this movie rehashes the same fucking thing. And yeah, at the ending, apparently Neo and Trinity are the one, which really destroys the one concept because it's called the one, not the two, not the three. It's the fucking one. So how can you have the one if there's two people who have the exact powers? I I don't understand how that works. And even hinted, so basically Neo now is just an overpowered person and Trinity's the one. It's very fucking confusing because they could both fly at the end of this. I assume they both have the equal powers. It's very vaguely explained, but it is like there's a scene where Neo can't fly. Um, he does get this cool telekinesis thing that I liked. But here's another thing that I never noticed that was pointed out to me by another review. If you've watched the original Matrix, there's a lot of gunplay. Neo does not shoot a single gun. I swear to God, watch this. Neo does not shoot anybody in this movie, which is fucking ironic because he's John Wick and he's also highly trained in weapons. He does not fire a single shot. Everybody else shoots shit. He doesn't touch any guns. The choices in this baffle me because I have no clue why you would have somebody who's weapon trained literally coming off of the John Wick franchise and not highlight them using guns, especially that Neo or Keanu shoots better now than he did back when it first came out. He's got proper gun training. He holds weapons and handles them realistically. Why the fuck would you not have him have weapons? I mean, I don't. I mean, I guess we could say that Terrence. He did kind of have a puppy dog look, but I'm not gonna say it was completely terrible. As far as it goes, yeah, he did do the same move over and over again. I did like when he deflected the rocket, but really the cool scenes are in the trailer. Like this film straight up is boring in the beginning of the movie. There's a lot of exposition, a lot of references. There was one scene, I don't know if it's meant to be funny. It did make me laugh out loud, but there's the choice of the red or blue pill. And fucking Yadu, whatever the fuck, the new Morbius guy, Morpheus guy, he comes out of a fucking bathroom stall and bombards uh, Keanu and says, "You got to take this, blah, blah, blah." And Keanu goes to run out of the bathroom. I thought that was hilarious because if some guy just popped out of the bathroom stall talking about two pills, I think I'd run out of the bathroom too. So I kind of like how they did that. It was kind of a joke, like, you know, who would realistically take the option. But that's the thing that's confusing about the movie. It shits on some parts of its own franchise, but it also respects it. And I'm fucking confused. It felt like they were conflicted between paying homage to the Matrix and being this feels like it was made by someone who was very fucking spiteful. Like they did not want to continue this series. They had no interest. That's what it felt like. Oh yeah, they definitely could have shortened it, Terrence said. This movie is long while not given anything of worth. They could have shortened it, just gave us a female one. Miss me with that. That's bad writing at its finding. It's so lazy. Yeah, and that's the thing. This movie does not. It offers a lot of interesting questions with no answers, and the writing doesn't come off as exactly disrespectful, just lazy. Like people didn't want to be there. And it's sad because I don't get that feeling from the actors. I get it from the people writing it. It's written in a very piss poor way. Scenes just kind of happen. Action just kind of comes out of nowhere. There's a lot of cool ideas with no substance behind them. I like the idea of them being the swarm. And look, I love the idea of Neil Patrick. If you don't know, Neil Patrick Harris is in this. He's kind of the architect, but they call him the alchemist or some shit. I forget. And he's supposed to represent the corporate suits. And I get it. They even make a reference to bullet time, which was fucking obnoxious. Basically, Neil Patrick Harris' power is bullet time. If you guys don't know what that is, that's a game reference that was made a long time ago. Max Payne, slowing bullets down, that dominated the 90s. Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris literally breaks the fourth wall and talks about how he took Neil's idea for bullet time and added that to to be honest, I'm gonna give you my recommendation, but honestly, I was going back and forth. And see, I can't give this a 5 because that would make it an average movie. I don't think it's exactly average with a lot of glaring mistakes, but it's not as bad as some movies I have seen. I want to put it like Doom Annihilation or something like that. I would definitely say it's about a 4 if I had to rate it, because 5 would be average for me, 6 would be above average, 7 is really enjoyable, but it's just missing a couple of things to make it push it up. 8 is great, 9 is one of the best movies out of a slew of movies, and 10 is as perfect as it can be. For me, Spider-Man No Way Home got a 10. I've explained my reasons. This is a fucking 4. This is not average. This is like literally the definition of wanting to cash in on a franchise. And I think a spiteful director directing this as shitty as they can to kill any chance of them making a franchise from it. Okay, so this is my theory behind this movie, because there's a lot of good ideas in here. I think they wanted this to fail. I really do. If you watch this movie, just sit there and listen to the comments that the characters are saying. This actively feels like someone who fucking hates what this company made them do, and they don't want to be there, and they want to make sure that this never gets a fucking sequel. And in that, I don't know if I really blame them. I mean, it kind of torpedoes everything you did, but I mean, how do you get Hollywood to stop making films? You make it shitty, no one sees it, and they bury it until, a couple of years, and they try to bring it back again. Do I blame them for that? Not really. So my best and worst films of 2021. Okay, the worst film for me of 2021, I would have to say that really, really pissed me off. Shit, there's been a lot of this has been. Whoops, I checked out there. Sorry. I'd have to say the worst film of 2021 for me was West Side Story. It was disrespectful. It was a shell of its former self. I'd say that'd be the worst for me. I could watch any of these other bad movies, but I will never watch West Side Story again. I might not even want to watch the original after it. So I'd have to say West Side Story is the worst. And obviously, the best film for me of 2021 was Spider-Man No Way Home. I just and Ghostbusters in its like second place. It would be hard because I gave Ghostbusters a 9 just because some of the nostalgia I thought was kind of bordering on being a little bit obnoxious, but it was made with love and passion. But for me, yeah, the worst would be West Side Story. I thought it should have never been made. It was a vanity project, and the disrespect towards people, I hate it. I know it's not a part of the movie, but it is. When a director comes out and says you need to learn Spanish to watch this film, I think you're a narcissistic prick. And I think that you are so high and mighty that you tell people what they need to do to watch your fucking film. And here's the irony of that. Spielberg once said Movies should be enjoyed by everyone, no matter who they are or what they're going through. He said, whether you're deaf, you're blind, whatever, you should be able to enjoy cinema universally. What happened to that, Steven? What happened? What, you've been living in fucking Hollywood since fucking the dinosaurs, and now you're like, oh no, you need to get culture. No, that's not how that works. How the fuck are you going to release this movie to other countries that where their second language, English is their second language, right? And that I'm pretty sure they don't take Spanish as a first language. Why would you do that? Why would you make that statement? That is so fucking pompous and arrogant. Everything about the movie is disrespectful. And the songs are not done that great, just in my personal opinion. I don't like the way they did them. If you were paying homage, then you should have got the original composition. You could have done it. You're fucking Steven Spielberg. But no, once again, Hollywood cash grab. Hollywood cash grab. That's what it is. After seeing Ghostbusters Afterlife, after seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, watching The Matrix, I knew exactly what it was going to be. I knew it was going to be a soulless reboot. I just didn't know that the people making it gave up on it. And that's really sad, because there is some interesting stuff in here. Like, this isn't all completely shitty, okay? Internet, calm the fuck down. Not everything in this movie is shit. And that's why I don't think it's like a horrendous film. There are some beautiful sequences. There are some cool concepts, okay, that could have worked. The problem is the execution isn't there, and it is too self-aware for its own good. Like, there's literally a scene in the film where they're talking about a new Matrix game, right? They go to Keanu Reeves' Neo, and they're like, we got to make this game, because if we don't, Warner Brothers is going to make it and give the go-ahead anyways. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Really? Really? We're doing this? Like, I can't even believe fucking Warner Bros. Let that line in there. Like, they're basically saying you forced them to make this movie, and if you didn't make this movie, then somebody else will. I mean, I agree, Gary North, but I'm saying I could watch Last Jedi and get fucking pissed, but still respect certain aspects over West Side Story. West Side Story is fucking awful. It is god awful. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Gee Officer Krumpke, Zod's flushing shit in what in the West Side. Yeah. Yeah, I hate because West Side Story is one of my favorite musicals of all time. Like, uh I put Chicago second, and then Burlesque, and I like Moulin Rouge and Greatest Showman. I'd actually probably put Greatest Showman up in my number 2. Yes, I know it's not historically accurate, but the guy was a dick in real life, and you can make a cool musical off of that. And you have fucking Hugh Jackman, who is a legitimate, like, actor. So, and Zac Efron fucking crushed it. He made me realize he's a real actor. Like, there's some good stuff. West Side Story was it was hard for me to get through. And because I speak a little bit of Spanish, not having subtitles made it really fucking hard. Because if you guys don't know, I'm half Puerto Rican. My mom speaks fluid Spanish. I do not. I can pick up things here and there. And so getting a movie with no subtitles, and I have to fucking really listen, and then it's fucking loud, and then the music comes on, and I'm trying to pick up what they're saying, but the music is fucking blaring over what they're singing. It was fucking terrible. It was one of the worst movie theater experiences I had. The Matrix is not like that for me. The Matrix is just depressing. The Matrix depressed me the most because it's feels like writers who gave up. And look, I watched Sense8. I thought that was an amazing, criminally underrated show. Lana Wachowski put a lot of the Matrix into that show, but had a very cool idea. I like the premise. I'm not sure about the ending, but it's as good as it's going to get because she had a longer ending in mind and had to condense it. But Sense8 was amazing. So I was hoping she'd bring that kind of concept into the Matrix, and no, it was just it was bad. CGI, the fucking CGI 1 minute could be beautiful. The next minute, fucking atrocious. When they go to Io, which is supposed to be like Zion, it is. They have a statue of Morpheus. It is fucking the worst CGI I have ever fucking seen in my life. It is fucking awful. It is not 2020. It's not even fucking 1999 CGI. It is fucking terrible. The fight scenes, some of them have that shit from The Matrix Reloaded where it looks like a fucking PS2 cutscene. Like, oh, it's fucking horrible. It's horrible. But like I said, the swarm idea was pretty cool. Like in this Matrix, they can activate people like a zombie mode and they just fucking start rushing people. Like they mass take over their minds and rush towards people. There's a really cool scene I like, and this is in the trailers, but when they're on their bike and people are jumping out of the fucking office buildings to kill themselves to try to kill Neo. It was a pretty cool scene because he's like, they're like going through with this bike, and as they're riding through, these people are fucking committing suicide trying to hit them on their bike. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. Neil Patrick Harris got a lot of shit, but I thought he could have been a very interesting bad guy if they would have set him up better. I like the kind of vibe he brought to it. He has a really great line, and it's probably the only memorable line of this film, where he goes, "My predecessor was interested in numbers and facts." And he goes, with humans, they don't operate on fact. They operate on their feelings. They like to live in misery. They're not happy unless they're miserable, basically. And I like that because some of the stuff that he says is true about people in general. And I like that. But there's not enough of that. They don't explore any of that. And it makes me feel like when they threw this together, some of their ideas were in here, but most of them got cut. The Bugs character, she was fucking phenomenal. This was a perfect point to introduce new people. I didn't give a fuck when anybody was in danger. Oh, and nobody dies. Okay? No, none of the cast dies. So you're telling me these motherfuckers go to the Machine City, right? They sneak in virtually undetected, okay, into a city that Neo and Trinity sacrificed their fucking life getting there. Trinity died before they got in the fucking city, and Neo was fatally injured. So, how is it that these people, they fucking sneak in fine? There's this fucking other program. It's a callback from The Matrix 2. The little girl is all grown up. The little Indian girl, I liked her. She was pretty cool. She's grown up, and she gives them this fucking like falcon thing that sneaks them in. And I'm like, where the fuck were any of these? Because some machines apparently are on our side and they've learned to coexist. So this ion is built with machines and man. But that defeats the whole purpose because the machines are self-aware. See, there's a lot of shit that doesn't track. It's like all good ideas, but nothing behind it to give it gravity or for it to make fucking sense. So it's just scene, goes into scene, goes into scene. Don't fucking worry about an explanation. Just fucking go with it. And at a certain point, I can't suspend my disbelief. I don't care if it's the Matrix or not. I realized Reloaded and Revelations, I gave a big pass to on some of their logic jumps because it was still compelling. There were new characters and they were all fucking interesting. This has none of the fucking secondary characters are memorable. I do not remember any of their fucking names. I don't even know why the fuck they're in here. Honestly, if you cut out all of their scenes, you could probably have a more coherent less time consuming film. And yeah, Zod, sounds like many movies now touch upon something interesting but only superficial. Yeah, there's a lot of great concepts but no execution, and it feels like it was prior ideas but they didn't want to expand upon it. Really, this feels like The Matrix 1, 2, and 3 in one movie. It with like maybe we'll be back, because spoiler alert, the ending is both Neo and Trinity fucking fly into the sky, and they're both the ones. And Trinity has a new ability where she can alter shit. So she beats the fuck out of Neil Patrick Harris and like snaps her finger and like fucking, yeah, I'm doing spoilers, Will. This fucking movie is, it's not disrespectful. It's just actually a bad movie. It's poorly written. And the sad part is, it's not necessarily poorly acted. Like, I see the actors care. Keanu Reeves very much cares about the character. Carrie-Anne Moss does a good job. Yeah, the ending is fucking ridiculous. Like, I I don't understand. So I like the motorcycle chase. I like going to the building, but then it kind of cuts off weird, because the she's holding him like, yeah, I want to point that out. That's probably one of my favorite scenes, and not for the reason they thought. So there is a part where Trinity is holding him in the sky. Yep, which was a joke. It was meant to be this wow moment, but it made me piss my pants laughing. Yeah, I agree. Um, there's a, yeah, Mega Jetty, you could jump out. This is spoilers. There's a moment where they jump off of the building, and it's kind of a callback to the first movie, and him and or Trinity and Neo hold hands as they're falling down, and then all of a sudden they stop in like midair, and Keanu looks up and says, she's like, "Are you doing this?" He goes, "I'm not doing this." Whoa, like, oh my god, like, the dialogue written for this movie is fucking terrible. There is so many terrible jokes in this film. Uh, it just, and Will Gentry, what fight scenes? There's only maybe one, or no, two true fight scenes. The simulation between not Morpheus and fucking when Neo and not Agent Smith fight each other. Uh and that fight is literally shot for shot the first fight of the Matrix, or the end fight. It's from the first Matrix. Literally blow for blow without the fucking train. It's literally the same fucking fight, the same choreograph, the same move set. It's so fucking lazy. It's so lazy. Like, it it's so lazy that it actually feels intentional. This movie feels intentionally bad. Like, like I said, it is a feeling that they didn't want to do it and they're forced to do it. Yeah, yeah. Neil and not Smith sucked. Neil would have been able to pulverize him at this point. Yeah. And okay, so there's a scene at the ending where it's supposed to be a touching moment where Trinity has to break herself out of the Matrix so they can get her body out. And uh they bring her in, and uh she's about to like break free and all this, because she, surprise surprise, chooses to free herself and realizes that her life is a fucking lie. And Neil Patrick Harris does his bullet time, Jesus fucking Christ, or he calls it deja vu. He does this move where he freezes time, and basically no one can catch him in this state. And out of nowhere, which is not fucking explained whatsoever, I kind of liked it because it was Agent Smith versus Neil Patrick Harris, but he's able to break this not bullet time deja vu thing when Neil, who's supposed to be the chosen one, and even Trinity, who's supposed to be powerful at this point, they can't break it. But fucking Smith just walks over and fucking basically punches Neil Patrick Harris in the face. And I'm like, so he has a reason that he wants to break free from this. He could have fucking faced Neil Patrick Harris at any point before this fucking final. Why the fuck does he wait till the end to like make himself known and attack him? If he wasn't affected by this move, he could have fucking taken him out. So the fight between Neil and not Agent Smith is fucking pointless. Because they're fighting because apparently he has to kill Neil, and Neil Patrick Harris will let him leave. But if you could have fucking taken him out from the beginning, what the fuck was the point of fighting Neil? Just so we get a cool remember this scene moment? I mean, it's so fucking lazy. And that's the problem. At points this film is shot pretty competently. It's just it's just a string of sequences. There's no connecting thread. There's no purpose. There's no purpose to this fucking movie. There is literally not a purpose for this fucking film. There is no reason for this to be fucking made. None whatsoever. After seeing this, and I watched it twice because I like metaphors and shit, and I get what they were going for, but if the whole point is that the corporation was going to fuck up your film, so what? You say, fuck it, I'll kill it myself? That's a very Kylo Ren way of looking at it, right? Kill the past. Bury it if you must, or whatever the fuck that stupid fucking line is. But that's what it felt like. It felt like a director and a creative team that said, oh yeah, you think you can fuck this movie up? We'll do it 20 times better than you can, Warner Bros. Take that. It's like, no, because what they're going to do is they're going to wait 10, 11 years, maybe 5, with the way studios are running out of ideas, and they'll just fucking reboot it. They're going to reboot it with a different director because this is not making any money. I would be shocked if this made any fucking money. And some fucking idiot in marketing decided to release it by Spider-Man No Way Home. Are you fucking kidding me? What in the world made you think that this piece of shit would even come close that's R-rated to a PG-13 holiday feel kind of film? Who the fuck runs marketing at Warner Bros? Like, who the fuck thought that was a good idea? Really? You can wait 2 weeks for the excitement and the nostalgia to die down before you release this and be like, oh, you like nostalgia movies? Come and see this one. No, they fucking are so arrogant. They released this fucking movie like a couple of days after setting up to be one of the biggest movies. Holy fuck. The marketing baffles me more than how shitty the movie is. Like, Warner Bros., what the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? Yeah, maybe go by logic. Not Smith could go faster than bullet time and killed Neil in a heartbeat. Exactly. It's a contradiction. Yeah, it's a contradiction and a plot hole. It's because it was parroting. In the first half, it was quite clever meta study on itself. Then it disappeared up its own ass, becoming the thing it was making fun of. Yeah, that was the thing. If this would have been a straight parody, I think it would have worked better. If they parodied it and then they had the new character take highlight over it, I would have been fine with that. And been like, okay, this is what the Matrix was. These are all the jokes and memes over the year, blah, blah, blah. I would have loved to see that movie. Honestly, I would have loved to see a movie that studies how it was once famous and now it's coming back as a shell of what it was. That's a great concept. That really would sum up this year great. But the fucking execution and the fact that they dropped that plot point after the first hour of the movie, it's very disjointed. I don't understand any of the fucking choices. They released it here, No Way Home, so they'd have an excuse for a bad box office receipts. Exactly. Anyways, going to bed. Catch you later. Have a good night. Netcat says, "Hey, I watched the movie myself. I personally thought it was pretty bad." Yeah, Netcat, I agree. But yes, exactly. It goes from parody to being pretentious. Every fucking scene is referencing who it is, and that's the thing with nostalgia. If you do nostalgia wrong, instead of paying respect, it comes off as arrogant and condescending. And that's what this movie comes to by the end of the film, because the decisions don't reflect what you set up in the beginning. Like, I don't know if somebody else wrote the second half of this movie, but it's atrocious. And the funny part is, people had a problem with the first half. And I'll be honest, I talked to PB before making this review. I was literally watching it while he was on the phone, and I said, I kind of like the first half of this movie. I don't see where the problems is. But holy shit, after the 34.4-minute mark, I remembered this motherfucker takes a spectacular nosedive like I've never fucking seen him. I've never seen a movie take this fucking bad of a nosedive in my fucking life. It is spectacular. This movie falls off of a fucking cliff head first with no fucking safety net. It's quite truly a great study on how to fuck up your entire film with a bad second and third act. Like, it goes right off of a fucking cliff. It doesn't stop. No shame either. Hits that motherfucker like a champ. Yeah, I agree. The first half was definitely very different from the second half. Yeah, you could see the break. It's like two different writers. It really is. It's like somebody was setting up the beginning, and the other writer said, nah, fuck that. It'll be all right. And just let this motherfucker take a swan dive. It was fucking atrocious. And here's the thing, I genuinely don't hate this movie. Like, you guys have seen me with like He-Man and shit. This movie didn't piss me off like that. I don't see the references as disrespectful. I see them as a really sad statement. Like, this movie cliches itself and is a cliche. It's fucking amazing. No, I did not see an end credit scene. I saw it on HBO Max. I don't know if they cut that out when you're watching it on there. I'll go back through and check out to see if I can see it, because I see it twice and I turned it off at the credits because I was so baffled. I wasn't even mad. I was baffled. I was like, how the fuck do you take such a bad fucking turn? The last 30 seconds. Okay. I'll check that out in that cat. Thank you. Because I definitely I want to see what, and please don't make a sequel to this. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the box office. Let's do a comparison here. I'm gonna see where this movie is tracking, because I don't think that this movie is doing very well. So, okay, I pulled up Box Office Mojo. Let's go to Box Office Mojo. I want to highlight some movies here. If you guys don't know, I like doing the movie highlights. I find it very interesting. So let's go to Box Office Mojo. So, Spider-Man, does it have? It doesn't have Matrix. Really? Let's see. Resurrections. Let's see if we have a number for it. Oh yeah, as of right. Okay, so let me just pull this up for you guys, because holy fuck, that's worse than I thought it would be. So, as of right now, it was released December 10th in Mexico. Yeah, as of right now, its international market is 9 million. No, that can't be right. Worldwide. They don't even have a fucking. Oh, okay. So here we go. Its opening in Mexico was 71,827. In Russia, 3 million. No, that can't be right. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Or no, 71,008,027. That is not very good. Uh, this is not very good at all. Let me see if I can get a better tracker. Because, hold on, I want to see if I could find uh, box office uh, tracking. See if I can find something better. See, I don't like Mojo because box office tracker. That one is a little bit more efficient than no, that's not what I want. Let's see. Bollywood. No, I don't give a shit about that. Latest cinema news. Let's see if I could just look it up under the title. Let's go to Matrix Resurrections and box office. Okay, so Matrix Resurrection Collection Day 1. Holy shit, 32 million. Okay, so the first day 1 of this is $32 million. This is I believe $120 million budget. Most of that is for pre-production when they had to close down. So out of 120 million, it's only made fucking 32 million. This movie is going to be another box office bomb. It's going to flop hard. And the fact that it's released on HBO Max too, and all of the critiques that have come out about it, not just from critics, but also people who have seen the movie, this movie's not going to do well at all. It's a failure. Even if it had a $50 million budget, I think it would have failed. But 120 million, it's not seeing its money back. Now, let's compare this to Spider-Man No Way Home, because a lot of people go, oh, well, that's not fair. And fuck you, it is fair, because this is a direct comparison for everybody who's saying, oh, pandemic this, pandemic that. No, make better movies. Nobody wants to go out and risk getting sick for shit. So let's look at Spider-Man No Way Home's box office. Let me see. Uh, it is at. No, that was December. Okay, so right now it's at 253 million. And that is domestically. So gross wise, it's 600 million with the global budget. So with the international box office. So 256 million opening weekend here in the States, and then tack that on. It's like 600 million right now. It is going to hit $1 billion. I'm just calling it. I've said this a lot. It's going to hit $1 billion. Everybody loves this film. It's how you do nostalgia. I guess to wrap this up, because I've been going an hour, and as you guys can see, I'm drinking my tea. I barely have my voice back. My overall rating is a 4 out of 10, and I don't hate this movie. I just want to get that out of the way. I think this movie has a lot of good ideas. I think this movie had a lot of potential. And anybody who didn't get a chuckle out of a couple of scenes or didn't think a couple of scenes were good are lying. There's even people who hate it that acknowledge it has a lot of good scenes. The problem is it doesn't have a coherent story. It doesn't have a coherent story, and the shit that's thrown in is for nostalgia, just for nostalgia, and kind of pretentious. So it's a pretentious failure. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I'm glad you're here, Netcat, and definitely come on by. Also, just so you guys are aware, there will be no late night talks tomorrow. I'm gonna use that day to spend with the family, rest up, drink some more tea. I'm actually gonna take a nap after this, because I'm in pretty rough shape. Been trying to watch The Witcher season 2 fucking forever. I finally caught up with Dexter, and I have nothing else, and Yellowstone. So now I'm going to probably watch all of the Witcher, because oh yeah, Rebecca, if you love the first Matrix, I wouldn't say don't see this, but I'd say it's definitely going to disappoint you. Anybody who loves the Matrix trilogies as a whole, or people who don't know much about the Matrix, or I mean, people who know a little about the Matrix, they won't like this movie. Anyone who's never seen the Matrix, don't know nothing about it, younger kid, they might like this film. Me, myself, I think that it tries at too many things and doesn't settle on a thing. I think it's a lot of good ideas with no driving force or motivation. I feel like the writers didn't give a fuck about this, and it shows. And it's a shame because I think the actors do care. Every performance is pretty solid. I wouldn't say anybody really phones it in. I just think they were poorly written and poorly directed. That's my final take. Take that as you will, but as always, you can see this for yourself and judge it. But as someone who's not exactly, hateful towards this, I'm giving you my objective view. That doesn't make it good for me. I just think that it lacks the magic that my favorite action movie had. And it's sad. It's really sad. At Mr. Zod's Phantom Zone, to cheer you up, I would have sent you my 2019 internet radio show. But you don't check your emails. Oh, I'll check them. Thank you, DJ Record Hound. I'll check them out. I appreciate that. And DJ Record Hound, I actually got a record player for the bitchy one, and I got her Ever Essence first album, so she loves it. She's probably gonna be playing that shit all night. I don't know why I gave it to her now, but I'm not gonna see her Christmas Day, so I gave her her gift now, and she really likes it. So we're going to build a record collection. We got a kind of old feel to everything, but like that shelf right there is my nerd collection. Here is our Nicolas Cage collection. So for everyone who was patient enough, here we go. The beginning of the Nick Shrine. All right. It's still in its infancy, but I think we got a good start. Yeah. Nicolas Cage. Nick, what did you think of The Matrix? I didn't like it much. Keanu Reeves is good, but I'd have been better. I'd have been a little bit more crazy. Okay, Nick, calm down. We'll talk to your agent and see if we can get you in a sequel. Anyways, so anyways, that's my little nerd side of the world. We're going to be expanding on the Nick Cage collection, so stay tuned. I'll probably feature some of it or have her standing by it. If you don't know, I just love Nicolas Cage, and my girl just loves it. We just always love Nicolas Cage. He's half of the reason why shitty movies get viewed at all, because I watch every one of them. So yeah, you gotta be careful. YouTube is claiming everything. They gave me a copyright strike for my Dexter, but yeah. Lots of Nick Cage love in this house, so there'll be some with that. I'm going to be creating a section, and I've been working on a video. It's taken me a very long time, but it's going to be Nicolas Cage movies where I'm going to review every single movie Nick Cage made. It's taking a long time, but the first one I'm going to start out with is Joe, because it's a great underrated film by the dude who made the first Halloween 2019. Very good movie, and I could see why he was picked by Carpenter before he passed. very good, very good, very, very good stuff. So, anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Hit that like, share, subscribe, share it into YouTube, share it on Twitter. Fucking disappointed. So wanted this to work, but hey, that's Hollywood. It is what it is. Remember, the only rule here in the Phantom Zone: kneel before General Zod. And a Merry Christmas to everybody.